Hey, this is Paul, and I'm here at Eden East with Robert, and he's been growing dragon fruit here for 5 years, and you grow over 200 varieties, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, we do.
Well, I'm excited to come check it out. We're going to learn some innovative trellising techniques. We're going to learn about how he treats his soil, how he fertigates and fertilizes. We're going to learn everything that he does at this amazing farm. So let's go check it out. So I brought a few cuttings to share with Robert. We'll do a trade as usual, and I want to see at this place, what do? You get a cutting that has calloused over. What's your steps? How do you treat it?
Some of the easiest things I do is simply just setting it in a pot and let it sit in the soil, whoops, on the tip there, and kind of wait till it gets rooted. And then I'll transfer it up into a 1 gallon. Definitely try to get a stick on it to start to train it, and then it goes up into a 5 gallon.
And you got some shade pot there?
Yeah, definitely have shade. All young cuttings should be started in shade, and even till they get to a little bit mature, about 3 or 4 feet tall, can you slowly start to introduce them into the sun.
And you even have things I don't have: Princess Sansa, lots of really rare stuff, Eagle Rock. So you definitely. Yeah, I mean, this is working for you. You're willing to put some really rare things out here.
Yeah, it's definitely been a great community, being part of the Facebook group page and other pages out there, and just getting to know other community members and, hitting them up for trades and stuff like that and information. So yeah, really enjoying it.
Yeah, and you can see that it looks like no rot. They're all rooting here. It looks like you put a little mulch on the top.
Yeah, so I do throw a little mulch. I do a combo of mulch and chicken poop and a little compost as kind of a top dressing to keep that moisture in, and then barely watering maybe twice a week right now. Even in the extreme heat, I notice some people might think that it gets hotter and you need to water them more, but that can lead to some root rotting issues. Mm-hmm. So just even though that heat picks up, just keep your normal watering schedule.
And what type of soil are you using in your media?
Yeah. So right now I'm going with like a bulk potting soil that contains perlite. I go to the large landscapers and get it by the dumpster load there, and then I'll add in extra perlite, and then some of that composted cow manure with that, and that's pretty much my mix. And just make sure it's got a good amount of perlite to drain well.
So you like to use perlite for drainage?
Yes.
Do you add much sand?
No sand at all. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Have you thought about adding sand? It seems like some people are liking it. What's your opinion on it? I'm curious.
I mean, it should work, and for some other applications for like proteas and things like that, I do use sand. But in terms of cost and keeping it simple, and I've already got a drainage component, I've just been happy with what I've been doing, and it's been working for me. So
yeah, I like perlite as well. I think perlite, pumice, those are great medias as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely better to have more than not enough.
Well, now you have some ones. So this is more of like a rooted section.
Yeah, these guys are slowly growing even more, getting taller, and so eventually these will be ready to get out on a trellis here. But time is everything, and you're trying to do it all and have a regular job and take care of your family. So some things sit a little more, but then you can get some cuttings and kind of let them get a little bit beefier. But yeah, eventually they'll get out on a trellis. And
time is always of the essence, right? Especially,
exactly.
And then it looks like you probably have enough where you're probably doing something similar to what I'm doing, is where I'm starting to evaluate, if this one doesn't grow well for me, I'm going to remove it.
Exactly. Yeah, and even at this state, my next state is on this kind of wall here where they can grow out and overlap a little bit.
Oh, wow.
And actually flower and fruit, and then I can see if it
okay, so you actually allow them to fruit all the way over here.
Yeah, so these ones will fruit here in place. And I'll see if I like them. They'll get too big to get transferred out to a trellis.
And your trellises here, you have different wood, but it looks like some of it's just eucalyptus.
Exactly,
fallen ukes.
We had a ton of abundance of eucalyptus trees down there. In fact, the whole area that we're going to go see was once a huge forest, which I cut down myself. And so these are all the sticks and things left over. And I'm like, hey, why don't I just start making stuff with it? Because I was buying these 2x2s at Home Depot for this stuff, but
and they're not cheap. They're expensive.
Exactly. So.
And this wood doesn't rot either. I noticed it lasts a pretty long time. So eucalyptus, you haven't seen any negative aspects using the wood or anything?
Not so far. Not yet. Yeah, most people will complain or think that eucalyptus mulch can be a problem because eucalyptus trees exhibit a pattern where they don't let other trees and plants go around them.
Mm-hmm. The oils, right?
Yeah, oils and chemicals in their barks and things like that. But I haven't had any problem with it. Most of the mulch that we see down here is all eucalyptus mulch.
And you can see it's not affecting your production. You got fruit here, looks like a sugar dragon or something similar.
Yeah, and all this, the mulch that we use in here on the top dressing is all eucalyptus and stuff too.
Okay, the most common thing everybody asks, they want growers, what's your top 5 right
top
now?
5.
The favorite, if you could only grow 5 varieties, what would they be?
Yeah, well, definitely looking at some of the dark red, the polyrhizis hybrids. So I'm loving Rosa, Lisa, and Orahona right now. Definitely loving some of the polyrhizis hybrids with, I believe, Guatemalensis ones. It's going to be like Makisupa and Robles Red. Those are great sized fruits, red flesh, great.
So you like a bit of that tartness of the red flesh vibe is one of your favorite, huh? Okay. What do you think of Ocamponus?
I love them. You know, I know a lot of people don't like them too much. They're kind of too earthy, too woody flavor.
They can taste a little beady sometimes.
Yeah. But I'm loving those too. You know, the flesh is dense on them, crunchy seeds.
Yeah, my neighbor told me to freeze it. So I take a Trisha, say, or El Grui, and you freeze it for 2 hours, and then it tastes like sorbet.
Oh, wow.
So I'm actually liking them more when they're slightly frozen. It tastes pretty good.
Yeah.
So would you say Sugar Dragon's in your top 5 or no?
Yeah, Sugar Dragon's in there definitely. And this is actually first year for me getting a Sugar Dragon fruit.
Really?
So,
okay.
We had a few neons already, but they're a little on the small side. But no, yeah, excellent flavor among the Sugar Dragon.
Nice pollen source as well. That's another thing.
Exactly.
How do you pollinate your flowers? Do you cross-pollinate? Do you store pollen? Do you freeze it? What's your strategy?
Yeah, so I got myself a little vacuum because eventually you get so much flowers out here that vacuum just.
So you like using a vacuum? I don't have one yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, once you get one, you won't go back.
That's what everybody says. Okay, so you store it? Do you refrigerate it?
Yeah, I simply let it dry for 24 hours and then I pop it in the fridge and just keep adding to that and kind of build up a supply and use it as necessary. And I use it directly out of cold storage within 5 or 10 minutes. So I'm sure it comes to room temperature, but yeah, just that works for me.
Do you use frozen pollen at all?
No, I've never froze it or anything. Yeah, and usually that's initially tough with your first few flowers that come through. You know, you just don't have any pollen, but once you have multiple varieties and multiple flowers coming, all of a sudden you got pollen out here.
Yeah, get fresh pollen almost every night.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, let's go look at some of his innovative trellises, especially the one down here in the corner that I've seen before. So Robert, explain this awesome trellis here. It looks like you kind of put together like 5 styles.
Yeah.
So it looks like you have a concrete posts. Is there rebar inside it?
Yes, there is. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and so how far in the ground is it?
It's about 3 feet down in the ground.
So is this your main support structure?
Yes.
Okay, and then you went off of it with some...
this is the top rail for a chain link fence,
wow.
you know, what you find at Home Depot.
I could actually climb on that if I wanted to.
Yeah.
So it's really sturdy, and you've attached it to several posts. It's what, 30 feet long probably? 40?
Probably, yeah, somewhere around
So it's really long, and then you have your first round of cutting here. Plants that you've rooted and they're growing, and then it looks like you're growing in the soil.
Yeah, these are directly right in the ground. You know, this is the first time trying it. I never done anything in ground yet, so we'll see how that goes. And you know, thinking the plant will be able to grow and do a lot better in the ground. So.
And are you worried about gophers or anything?
Yeah, gophers can be a concern here, but too, you know, I've got multiple plants, so if I happen to lose a plant, or there's even some tips and tricks you can do to, you know, re-root the plant and get some soil around it. So yeah, not too worried about it.
And then you were having more problems with rats, you said, than gophers, right?
The rats and the rodents, you know, everything gets so hot and dry around here. The only water that they can get is from the flesh of the dragon fruit stem, and so they usually attack the bottom.
So right here, they were nibbling here?
Yeah, you can see some evidence.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now you just leave the cuttings on the ground, and hopefully they'll just go for that instead?
Yeah, I thought, hey, just all the trimmings, instead of cleaning them up, just let them sit on the ground, and maybe they'll just munch on those trimmings and
the nutrients will recycle back into the soil too in time. And then explain this? You have some type of...
Yeah, so this is the landscape tubing they sell at Home Depot, you know, for irrigation and whatnot, doing drains. So, you know, you definitely want to have some kind of buffer over the metal frame that you make to kind of help the dragon fruit spill over a little bit better. So
it's just going to be a nice umbrella here, a nice
Yes.
canopy in a short amount of time here, a year or two.
Exactly, yeah.
I like this a lot. And then you have
Thank
a whole
you.
section of upcycled
Yeah.
parts that you made into trellises. I remember here. So you have some trash cans that you cut in half, correct?
Yes.
So look at that. So these are mobile if you need it. So I think this is a really brilliant idea. So a trash can cut in half, it's probably what, 30 gallons?
Yeah, it's just one of the large trash cans, you know, that you find at any house, and these happen to be abandoned, and so hey, took advantage of it and do a lot of recycling, so I get a lot of materials. I was able to, you know, get these big PVC pipes.
Oh yeah, and you have some rebar in there, some wire mesh on the top.
Yeah. And you know, I definitely learned this is kind of the cheaper, thinner wire mesh. You definitely want to go with the cattle panels. It's going to be a lot stronger, and you can see over here in this one. Yeah, this has the thicker.
Oh, so that's called a cattle panel, huh?
Yeah.
Where do you get that?
Tractor Supply.
Okay, I'm going to get that instead for now, and I like that. That's better than the. I was using the concrete wire mesh, but this is 100 times better.
No, yeah, and you can even beef this up too. I did on the trellises out there, but you can put even more rebar along the sides and beef.
And you spot welded it too?
Yeah.
Oh
exactly.
Wow, that is stout.
Yeah.
And so yeah, these are made out of cut barrels. You have the upcycled one, and then look at this newest creation. This wasn't here last time we came. Explain this really cool thing.
Yeah, so got these tables. These are actually the lobby tables you see in a hotel. They have a little sheet of glass over it.
Oh, and the glass is removed.
Yeah, so the glass is removed, and I thought it would make a great trellis idea, you know, kind of a shorter trellis. I like to do things at different levels, tall things, little things.
Yeah, I envision just hundreds of branches popping off, or not hundreds, but a lot of branches coming over and just kind of hiding the metal.
Exactly.
You know, it would almost look like a table of dragon fruit in a way, right?
Exactly. And then just slammed in some pipes here and hose clamped them in for some extra support. Put it on some bricks to give it a little more height. So.
And then when you plant them into the soil here, do you amend the soil, or do you just leave the native soil?
No, this was amended soil with my mix that I use that we talked about earlier. So yeah, it's got perlite. Real good drainage in there, and then just use regular wood chips for the top dressing here.
And these plants are really happy. And then what, to kind of ease them into the transition, you use some burlap?
Exactly, yeah. Even though most of these guys are Ocamponus varieties, they still need a little bit of shade to start out.
Yeah, there's nothing better than just tossing some burlap on them for a few weeks. That's what I do, and then I remove it once they kind of seem acclimatized, and it works well.
Exactly.
So yeah, it looks like you have several of these trellis setups, huh?
Yeah, I got another one over here. And if I can mention this one over here, I'm so proud of this guy. This is a Vivid Papaya.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you've had that fruit yet.
No, I have not.
But I'm very proud to get some flowers on there and see what the fruit tastes like. You know, really into those deep, dark reds and purples, you know, fruits that have high antioxidants.
I have a feeling you're going to like the flavor of this one.
Yeah.
That's kind of your vibe. Yeah, this is a really healthy plant, too.
Yeah, and it was grafted. You can see I did a little graft.
Oh, you grafted it?
First grafts that I did and stuff. But,
oh, wow. So it's your first graft,
yeah.
and it's budding. So you're pretty stoked.
Yeah.
And this one's like a really purplish fruit, right?
Yeah. It has a real magenta, almost purple colored flesh to it, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of looks like Orahona polyrhizis in a way, but it's thicker. It's really nice.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm excited for you. I hope that you report and tell us your honest opinion about that fruit.
I sure will. Thank you.
So tell us about this tomato cage strategy.
Yeah, so for me it was something quick and easy to build and very inexpensive to get me growing my dragon fruit variety and having it on a trellis. But the cage itself is not strong enough or sturdy to support the full weight of a huge plant like this. So you definitely want to use some kind of side supports here. And these went straight into the ground rather than into the pot. So it's really secure on there. And then I just hose clamp the pipe to the tomato cage. And then I'll put an old piece of cut hose as kind of a protector as the plant leans over, because that metal tends to dig in and can cause rot.
Yeah, some people say it could cut the branches off, but I'm not seeing it. It looks like your plants are supported supported really well with this method.
Yeah, and there will be a couple examples here where it's actually resting on the metal, and it actually starts to grow around the metal like, you know, any
Really?
kind of
Yeah,
plant
look at
would.
this. Yeah. I mean, this
so-
is a nice strategy. Now, you also have them elevated on stumps. What's the reason behind that?
Just to give the plant a little more height so you can get your, you know, vines to grow a little bit more down and have some more room for dragon fruit. And, you know, like I was saying before, we had an overabundance of trees here, and so this is all the wood that's left over, and, you know, I kind of try and put stuff to work. And
Yeah, I like this idea. And then also ground squirrels and things rabbits can't get into the pots either, elevates them.
yeah,
So
exactly.
keep some pests out. And then you using a drip system?
Yeah, I got a drip system on these guys because, you know, it takes a lot to water by hand with everything else you got going on.
And you said twice a week?
Twice a week, yes.
Twice a week.
Yes.
For how long? What's your duration?
About 10 minutes. And I was talking a little bit issues about overwatering, and, you know, they really don't need that to get soaked that much. So yeah, I just do 10 minutes. I was trying at 18 minutes, but they started showing signs of root rot. So
18 was just too much water.
yeah, too much
Okay.
water. And these are drippers that are gallon an hour drippers.
Okay. And do you add extra holes to the pots? Or
No, just the normal
just the
drainage
normal
hose at the
amounts,
bottoms.
okay.
Yeah.
And what do you think? I mean, you have a huge collection. Not many people grow 200 dragon fruit.
Yeah.
What do you think? Are they really that different, or do you think there's a lot of renames? What's your personal opinion about the 200 masses of dragon fruit varieties?
So,
plus?
you know, there definitely are some that are similar hybrids within the same species. So sometimes it takes a little bit of growing to kind of find out what's going on. But once you kind of know and can kind of pass that knowledge and direct people in their growing habits, you know, they can narrow it down to some of the more basic and non-basic ones that you can grow.
So if you notice, Robert, you have some umbrellas under certain varieties and some you don't. Could you explain why?
Yeah, well, you know, some varieties are a little more sun tolerant than others. Things like the Ocamponus and the Polyrhizis hybrids, which have that white waxy coating, can tolerate the sun a little bit. But a lot of your Undatus and Guatemalensis hybrids, they need to have some shade. And I just happen to come up on umbrellas, you know.
So again, you just have one.
You're on a budget and you don't want to spend much, or you find stuff at yard sales, things like that. I'm always keeping my eye open for the right type of thing.
Oh, you attach it to a T-post. That's how you
just
got
do
it
it
so
in a
tall.
T-post.
Oh,
so
brilliant.
it can flex a little bit in the wind and
Yeah, it does
kind of
flex.
take it a bit. So
Oh, that's brilliant. All
Yeah.
right. And then how do you just leave it up in what, probably July, August, September type of thing?
yeah, I'll definitely take it away for wintertime because the sun is, you know, a lot lower in the southern sky here. It's just when it's summertime, when that sun comes right ahead, it just beats down on your plants. And, yeah,
And
you
it just
gotta-
is really helping. It looks like this one mainly?
Yeah, that one. And it just depends on the time of the day. It gets a little bit over here and stuff. But
Oh, this is your bruni. Look at all the
Yeah.
beautiful fruit and flower buds. I love bruni. Bruni's a good
yeah,
one.
that's
Tastes like a
definitely good one.
coconut.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so tell me, how do you fertilize these dragons?
So right now I'm just using chicken poops, and we've got our own chickens and our own supply, and that's pretty much what I do for all my fruiting plants around here. Is just,
Really? So you just use your homegrown chicken manure?
Yeah.
Okay,
homegrown chicken manure.
Straight out of the chicken? or do you
No,
let it-
you let it kick it for about 3 months because it's a little powerful.
It's too hot, right?
Yeah, it's too
Okay,
powerful.
so 3 months, you just leave it in a pile. What's your strategy?
I just basically leave it in a 15-gallon out here and just let it kick it for 3 months, and then
Okay.
I'll go and break it up and mix it up into a mix, you know, with the mulch and some compost, and that's my top dressing.
So there you go, chicken manure in these guys. Awesome. And how often do you apply it?
Once a year, pretty much. Yeah, at the start of every season. I'll
So the
put
start
it
of the
in a little
season,
later.
and do you do any fertilization at the end of the season or just
No,
that once?
not at all, just that once.
Okay,
Yeah.
and look at it's not affecting his fertility. You can see how many fruit he has. How many fruit do you think you're going to get this year?
Oh, lots. We'll definitely
see
get
hundreds of buds, right?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. And I have every year. It's like more and more plants come online, start flowering and fruiting. So
Well, Robert, if somebody wanted to trade cuttings or buy cuttings or fruit from you, how do they get a hold of you?
best way to find me is through email, which we'll go ahead and give to you, and you can find me later. But you can also find me on Facebook. I just started the El Cajon Dragon King on Instagram and Facebook.
So El Cajon Dragon King.
Yeah.
All right, we will put that in the description along with his email. So if you want to get a hold of Robert, and don't you grow other things too? It looks like, I mean, if somebody wanted to come and get a different type of fruit tree, what else do you have here?
Yeah, oh yeah, I got all kinds of other tropical things. Suriname cherries, sapotes, got some jabuticabas, cherimoyas.
What is this?
That is the milkweed tree,
Wow,
Calotropis.
that is beautiful.
Yeah, and if anyone's been down to Balboa Park at the terrarium, there's 2 giant ones on either
Really?
side of the door as you go in.
Okay.
On the pool, yeah.
All right,
yeah.
I need to go look there because I've been there, but I've just never paid attention.
Yeah, yeah.
And so do you sell some of these too?
Yeah, I'll definitely sell other things. Like I was saying before, yeah, I got a lot of tropical fruits and other cool fruiting plants. So, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna put you on the spot to close it.
Sure.
Name 5 of your favorite tropical fruit besides
Oh.
dragon fruit.
Yeah, so definitely Suriname cherry,
Okay.
jabuticabas, patubatangas, which is a small cherry-like fruit that tastes just like passion fruit.
Wow, I need to
Yeah.
try that.
And then I got a really nice purple guava that's great.
Okay.
And definitely to round that out is the wax apple.
The
Love
wax
those
apple.
apples.
Okay,
Yeah.
but those ones are cold tolerant, you said, right?
They are, and I'm out here in East County in Lakeside, and we do get chilly temperatures, so you really have to protect your wax apples out here.
And they are delicious.
Oh yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for your showing us your wonderful collection of dragons and everything else, and we appreciate your time.
Awesome, anytime, thank you, Paul.
All right, thank you.